Hey everybody, it is Carrie here at Trail Traveler, and we're going to do a little mod to the Jeep today. Now you know we have our off-road trailer, our Tribe Trailer Overland Base Camp. We have taken this thing all over the place through Arizona, Utah, Wyoming, Oregon. It's been everywhere, and it has performed amazingly. We did break down in Oregon, but that's a whole nother story, and there you can find that video in our library. But one thing we never did was add a brake controller to the Jeep. The trailer doesn't really need it. It's not that heavy. It's only about 2,000 pounds all loaded up. But in a couple of situations where we were coming down some very steep, very loose, rocky type stuff, I just kept thinking maybe a brake controller would be a good idea. Maybe it would help, smooth out the downhills when we're hitting the brakes. Maybe it would improve our stopping distance when we have the trailer on it. There are benefits to having a brake controller. And I've looked at a handful, and I was just on the edge of buying the RedArc brake controller because it's a very simple install. And then they came out with something new. The Tow Pro Trail Kit. This one is literally designed for off-road trailers. So if you're taking a trailer off-road and it's got electric brakes that can be controlled by a brake controller, the Trail Kit may be for you. Now, I'm going to just kind of read off some of the features that it has on here so you kind of know what this is all about. Plug-and-play installation into a range of Jeep Wrangler, Rubicon, and Gladiator vehicles. Yes, if you have the tow kit on your Jeep or your Gladiator, there is a plug underneath the dash for a brake controller. You literally plug this in. It's pretty simple. There's a little bit more to the install, but it is supposed to be extremely simple. It has two braking modes. Manual off-road mode says it's perfect for challenging conditions such as steep descents, mud, and sand. We do that. We get into those situations. And everyday mode, which is proportional braking for day-to-day towing. Well, we have to take it on the highway, so that sounds like it's a good option. Has sway stop control technology to stop trailer sway with one touch. If you're getting some swaying, from the wind, or it's not balanced properly, tap the button, it applies a little bit of brake, stops that swaying. Very good when you're coming down like the passes, like I-70, very steep descent. You can be picking up some speed, get a little wobble there. That should really help. Factory look, dash mounted remote head for ultimate control at your fingertips. So it actually comes with the mounting stuff to replace the 12-volt outlet in the dash. So you would pull that out, pop this in, it looks totally factory, and it's right there at your fingertips. We're not going to do that because I don't want to lose the 12-volt port. So we're going to put it somewhere else. I used to have a switch. Well, the switch is still there. There's a switch underneath the dash. It doesn't go to anything now. So we're going to remove that switch, and that's where we're going to put the controller. The main unit is mounted behind the dash, keeping the driver's leg space clear and no interference with airbags. So, should be pretty straightforward. I'm going to open it up, and now this is the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon Gladiator kit. So this should have everything that we need to get started. So in the box, we have the Tow Pro Trail Kit. This is the controller itself, the switch, and some basic wiring. There is the EBMK001 mount. We're going to use this to mount it up underneath the dash. It has the TPSI003. This is the cover that you would use if you're going to put it where the 12-volt port is. So we're not going to use that. it comes with the TPH022. So it's got one plug on the end that plugs into the brake controller, and the other plug that just plugs in to the wiring harness on the Jeep. So should be pretty straightforward. Let's get inside and start tearing things down. Well, I've been trying to figure out how to film this, but I just can't get a camera up underneath there. And it actually took me a while to find the factory harness. It's up underneath, it's actually taped up. So when you look up from underneath, you can see the gray connector with a piece of tape on it, break the tape off, and I should be able to reach up. I have really big hands, so I don't know how well this is gonna work, but I'm gonna try and get up in there and get this connector put together. Well, I've got it installed. I took this bolt out here, bent the bracket, and put it in there. Now, the cool thing about this is the controller can be in any orientation. It doesn't matter. It just has to be secure. So you don't want to just zip tie it to some wire looms or something. You need it to be as secure as possible. I tried this spot, that didn't really work. So I've got it there. So I think we're good to go. I just need to connect the wires to the controller, put the dash back together, and hopefully it works. We've got it all installed. I'm just going to turn some power on here. Push it. We see that it's lit up blue. It should be ready to go. Now the installation is complete and it should be in a functioning state. However, it does have to learn its orientation. Now, I don't have the trailer hooked up at the moment, but all I have to do is just go drive it and it will calibrate inside the vehicle like that. And then we'll hook up the trailer, see how it works. We'll try adjusting it and see what kind of difference it makes. So what do I think of the RedArc Tow Pro? You know, it's a brake controller. It's only $250. It's super easy to install. You literally plug it in and then find some spot for the little dial. I mean, it really can't get any easier on an install. So super easy, and the results are fantastic. It feels so much better when we're off-road, going down steep hills, giving a little bit of brake, and just not feeling that extra push of the trailer. It just feels almost like there's nothing back there because it has its own brakes. So it feels so much better. When I'm going down some really steep stuff or some crazy off-camber things, it just feels that I have more control. And it's simply because I'm not getting that weight pushing down. There is a spot in Nevada that if I didn't have the brake controller, it would have just pushed the back end of the Jeep around towards a cliff. Now, I probably wouldn't have gone over, but having brakes on the trailer meant I wasn't getting that extra push from the trailer, which would have made things really sketchy. So now I'm a huge fan of having a brake controller with a trailer that even only weighs 2,000 pounds. I think it's a worthwhile investment, and I think the Tow Pro is an excellent choice, especially because it's not very expensive, it's very easy to install, and it just works. Now, there is an off-road mode that instead of it being kind of proportional as you push the brake, it just always goes to a certain setting. I didn't find that was as useful. What I did was I just kept dialing it in a little bit at a time to where I got the stopping power without it locking up the brakes. And depending on the load, if I had a full load of water, I'd have to turn it down more because that extra weight would, cause it to slide a little bit. If I had less water in there, I could turn it down, turn it up a little bit, or turn it down a little bit, one way or the other. So I can fine tune it based on the weight that I have in the trailer to get exactly the results I want. So huge fan. Appreciate RedArc for hooking me up with one of these to try out. I will definitely put one in the Gladiator if we're ever going to be towing our trailer. I think it is a excellent investment. And our friends Phil and Dana with their Opus 4, they put the same thing in theirs and they're super stoked with it as well. So there you go. Need a brake controller? Check out the Tow Pro. I think it's going to be the one, especially if you do off-roading, it's going to be the one for you. Well, take it easy, be safe out there, and we'll see you on the trails.